Now that my Jake Paul commentary is out of the way,
Never thought I'd be saying that.
a video which is tradition for every commentary channel, I'm gonna talk about something that actually matters to me. Many of you have probably heard of Rocket League as of late, considering Epic Games purchased it, made it free to play, and it is among the top esports globally. Rocket League is a game which, contrary to popular belief, is a sequel to another game that was poorly named depending on how you look at it. Super Acrobatic Rocket-Powered Battle Cars, or SART BC for short. In brief, SART BC was released in 2008 by Psyonix, which, crazy enough, also happens to be the developer of Rocket League. As a game by itself, SART BC was generally unremarkable. It was received fairly well by the public, and I mean, I've never played the game myself, but people who have played the game told me it was a bit of a clunky one. After all, it was released to the PS3. Much like Rocket League, the goal of SART BC was to get the ball into your opponent's goal while leaving your side impregnable. And this was a new and creative concept. Using cars to play soccer, or football depending on where you're from, was pretty much unheard of, not only for games but also in general as of 2008. This game obviously rose and fell as it never switched consoles, but it had laid a perfect foundation for the monolith that is Rocket League. I've lived with this game for an entire third of my life, and started playing shortly after its release in July of 2015. Rocket League during this time almost seemed like it was trying to imitate SART BC, but in a more modern style. As the game increased in popularity, I started getting into it. It really started to gain traction around the end of 2016, and after this, the game continued as normal, even becoming a top esport, until around May of 2019. This is when Epic Games bought Rocket League. Epic Games bought it supposedly because of its esport potential, and quickly made it mainstream and free to play. For old players, this change was mediocre at best, changing the trading and currency system, which quite frankly changed the game for the worst as far as that went. The main thing that changed with Epic Games' purchase was that all of the formatting was changed, default settings were changed, new maps, new items, the list goes on. The game was made more polished, and this attracted a lot of new players. Not only that, but the game went from 20 USD to a free-to-play game in September of 2020. You've all probably seen memes coming up around this time due to this, and it only caused more attention, which led Rocket League to where it is today. Rocket League doesn't just consist of playing 2v2 or 3-on-3 soccer/football. Rocket League consists of Drop Shot, a game mode where you shatter your opponent's floor in an attempt to shoot the ball downwards underground. Your boost regenerates and there are no boost pads to collect for speed as the arena is hexagonal. This game mode is in standard 3v3 form, just like the Rumble game mode, where you have a variety of power-ups used to score and a mix of standard and extra maps. There's also a hockey game mode, which no one cares about that, so just forget it, and a basketball game mode called Hoops, where the goal is suspended in the shape of a hoop above the ground. Playing Duel or 1v1 is brutal and fast-paced, and that keeps you from making any mistakes, and you have no help from teammates. We don't talk about 4v4, just forget that exists. If you can't tell, Rocket League is more diverse than you might have perceived. Here's where my opinion comes in. I am extremely biased and think this game is a total masterpiece. This game gives me memories of being outside all day skating or playing baseball with friends in the summer and then hopping on Rocket League as the sun sets to get in a couple games before bed. I mean, I even bought Hot Wheels of these things. Yeah, no one cares, but still, that shows you the bias you'll be listening to. I've deciphered Rocket League into three main categories: mechanics, game sense, and game speed. Mechanics in Rocket League are basically defined by how well you can move your car, or more importantly, your ability to manipulate the ball and deceive your opponents. The mechanics in Rocket League are different than in most games though. You don't just press a button to reload your rifle or to throw a ball. You have complete control over the movements and combine controls together to play the game. There are endless amounts of advanced mechanics that can be discovered and experimented with, as you are given a car with the ability to flip, fly, and control the ball in any way possible. Some popular examples of incorporating mechanics when striking could be the ceiling shot, and this is made possible using the ceiling, obviously. To briefly explain why using the ceiling is needed in this shot, you have a second jump that you are able to use with your car. This can be used as an extra jump or for a flip to hit the ball or maneuver your car in another direction. This makes way for many new mechanics to be utilized to keep your flip. You see, the catch is that you can only keep this second flip in the air for 1.5 seconds before it disappears entirely. Letting your car fall off the ceiling guarantees that you will save this second jump for as long as you're in the air, because the game does not register that you left a solid surface. This makes it so your opponent will have no idea when you flip into the ball, because you can flip at any time while you stay in the air. Another shot incorporating a specific mechanic is the flip reset. Landing all 4 wheels on a surface is what the game recognizes as resetting your flip, or the second jump that I talked about earlier. You can land all 4 wheels on the ball to reset this flip, hence the name Flip Reset. You can use this flip to achieve the same goal as the ceiling shot, but in a more difficult and unpredictable manner. It's very complicated, but this should give you an idea of how extremely diverse and creative the mechanics are in this game. Yet another example that is a great selling point of Rocket League is the air dribble. This is exactly what it sounds like. You carry the ball on top of your car midair and push it into the net to secure a goal. When you incorporate mechanics such as freestyling, which is basically making your car spin and getting fancy, making it look cooler, or even double tapping the ball in on the backboard of the net. Combining mechanics is what sets this game apart. No other game has controls that allow you to be this creative. I mean, come on, you can literally flip into the ground in order to get speed when you have no boost, which is called wave dashing, or even drive on the side of your wheels. In part, this is what drives new players away from this game. No pun intended. The mechanics are hard to get used to, but if you play games with the intention of being skilled immediately, then you're as smart as a bag of water. Improving those mechanics, basic and advanced, is one of the 3 pillars of becoming a skilled player in Rocket League. There is one thing about mechanics in Rocket League that you should know though. No one uses keyboard and mouse, just don't do that. Game sense is easily described by the way you rotate around the field and how you pay attention to the ball, your teammates, if applicable, and your opponent's movement. Mechanics and game sense go hand in hand because you can have one or the other without combining them and still lose to pretty much everyone. Rotation, which is the key component in game sense, is solely based on your ability to maneuver your car, or your mechanics for short. Getting good game sense is simple. It should come with experience in game. Having a certain rotation that is based on if your teammate is going up to challenge the ball, or if your teammate is defending, will make sure that someone can always defend, and someone can be ready to shoot if there is an opportunity. If you have more than one teammate, good rotation allows for an extra teammate or teammates, if you're one of those that play 4v4, to lay back and collect boost to increase their defensive and striking ability. Just play smart and try to keep from double committing, which is where 2 players challenge the same area. This is an issue because it leaves your goal wide open. Game sense is an element in video games that is commonly found. For example, in Tom Clancy's Rainbow Six Siege, you're not going to want to push the same area as your teammates because if there are any traps or you are ambushed, you'll lose more fighting power when you get in a bad situation. This is similar to double committing in Rocket League. Mechanics in Rocket League are unique, but game sense is a little easier to pick up on because it relies on common sense, real-world experience, and it is commonly found in other games that you might have already played. Even Battle Royales have this rotation that I talked about because you need optimal positioning for an offensive or defensive position against attackers, like in PUBG or Apex Legends. You should know that Rocket League players can be pretty toxic, so if you're consistent with game sense and mechanics, you'll avoid any angry teammates. Mechanics give Rocket League an unseen element, while game sense gives you something familiar and common. This creates a bit of a Goldilocks effect. The game isn't too familiar and boring, and it also isn't as far out and alien to the average player. Getting used to these 2 things is what drives away new players the most, and it is the main argument for people that don't like Rocket League to use against the game. Just stick with the game, because like most games, it's going to be hard at first. If you aren't having fun, by all means don't play this game, but I highly doubt it. Game speed is something that is separated from the last 2 pillars of Rocket League, as I'll call it, because it isn't something that completely relies on your abilities. It mainly relies on your opponent's abilities and your teammates' abilities. Once again, game speed is pretty self-explanatory. It's how fast the players move when playing and how advanced the gameplay is perceived. The more advanced your skill gets, the more advanced your adversaries will become, thus completely controlling the speed of the game. There isn't really much to say on this pillar. Put simply, the game gets faster the more you play it. You're probably as tired as I am listening to my voice while I was editing, but this is your history and analysis of Rocket League from the perspective of an old player. There is one last thing that I wanted to mention. You can probably tell from the visuals that I've shown that this game had a lot of time put into it. However, it isn't just them that are pleasing. I personally think the audio design in this game is top tier, so I'll stop talking so you can hear some of that. That'll pretty much wrap it up. Thank you for watching, and just go install the game. It's free, alright? Till next time.